Welcome back to Fulgur channel, where we bring you the latest insights into global affairs. And today, we're diving into the turbulent waters of the South China Sea. The geopolitical landscape is shifting, and tensions are on the rise as the United States and the Philippines stand united against China's expanding influence. The South China Sea, a region rich in resources, is a hotbed of geopolitical tensions. China's assertive claims over vast expanses of this sea have raised concerns among neighboring nations. Today, we focus on the collaborative efforts of the United States and the Philippines in response to China's increasing influence. The alliance between the United States and the Philippines is taking center stage, as both nations recognize the strategic importance of the South China Sea. They're joining forces to protect their interests and maintain stability in the region. The U.S. and Philippine navies are flexing their muscles in a show of strength, conducting joint exercises to demonstrate their commitment to regional security. These maneuvers send a clear message to China: the South China Sea is not a playground for unilateral actions. Behind the scenes, diplomatic intricacies are at play. The U.S. and the Philippines are engaging in strategic dialogues, forming partnerships, and rallying international support to counterbalance China's influence. It's a delicate dance of diplomacy that we'll be dissecting in this segment. The United States, through its active presence in the region and treaty alliance with the Philippines, is intimately tied to this worsening row. Unless handled carefully, the situation could lead to a full-blown crisis or even conflict that none of the parties wants. While the Philippines is exercising agency in its responses to Chinese behavior, the United States retains high levels of bargaining power with its ally. There is a strong case to be made for Washington to exercise restraint and avoid worsening the situation, while aiding the Philippines in measured ways in its defense against intrusive Chinese activities. When Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was elected as president of the Philippines in 2022, some Filipinos feared that his foreign policy would continue the tilt toward China that was seen under his predecessor, Rodrigo Duterte. This expectation was partly because Marcos had picked Sara Duterte, the former president's daughter, as his running mate. However, as 2023 progressed, it became clear that the Philippines was undertaking a major shift in its orientation, placing its bets heavily on its alliance with the United States. The two allies announced 4 additional military sites that the U.S. would have access to under the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. 3 of these sites are in northern Luzon, closer to Taiwan. This year's Balakitan exercises were also the largest ever, with maneuvers that included the defense of the Batan's Islands, which are located even closer to Taiwan than northern Luzon is. Earlier this year, I wrote about the risks of fusing the Taiwan and South China Sea theaters and planning joint patrols. The Philippine Defense Minister rebuked China on Wednesday for accusing his country of provoking tension and stirring trouble in the South China Sea, saying only Beijing believed what it was saying. Truth, and in fact, no country in the world, none, supports unequivocally their claim to the whole of South China Sea, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro said, as both nations have exchanged accusations over recent collisions in the waterway. China claims almost the entire South China Sea, a conduit for more than $3 trillion of commercial shipping annually, including parts claimed by the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. The Permanent Court of Arbitration in 2016 said China's claims had no legal basis, a ruling the United States supports but Beijing rejects. More than a week ago, Manila and Beijing traded accusations over a collision of their vessels in the South China Sea, with the latter saying the incidents were entirely caused by the Philippines. According to China's statement, Manalo said the Philippines side is willing to strengthen dialogue with China in good faith, make good use of the bilateral communication mechanism on maritime issues, and jointly seek a solution to the issue. The two sides agreed to hold a meeting of the bilateral consultation mechanism on the South China Sea as soon as possible and actively create favorable conditions for it, the statement added. A brief statement by the Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs said Manalo had a frank and candid exchange and ended our call with a clearer understanding of our respective positions on a number of issues. And now, let's address the elephant in the room, China's response. How is the rising tension affecting China's approach in the South China Sea? From diplomatic statements to military posturing, we'll analyze China's perspective and the potential ramifications for the region. The ripples of this geopolitical showdown extend far beyond the South China Sea. The global impact of these developments cannot be ignored. Join us as we examine the implications on international relations, trade, and the balance of power in this interconnected world. As we wrap up this exploration of the escalating tensions in the South China Sea, one thing is clear: the geopolitical landscape is evolving, and the stakes are high. Stay tuned for more updates by subscribing to Fulgur channel.